So these are the trees that I ordered from Christmas Chaos in Australia, and it turns out, well, these are a bit more pine tree looking, I guess. They have a much more sort of cartoony look to them. They're very well rounded. The bristles are like made up of little bits, bristly bits, as opposed to thick clumps. So I will be showing you what I'm going to do to fix that, or at least improve upon it a little bit. And you're probably wondering what this is. It is a Space Marine land speeder, and it's from eBay. I got it for about $10, and I'm about to drop it into a vat of Dettol to strip the paint, which is a shame because it's a nice looking paint job, but I am going to be using it in my diorama, and I would like to paint it myself. And over here, some Space Marines, and they will be used in the other part of the diorama, and so I should explain then what I'm going to do. But first I will just get everything cleaned, and then I will show you guys what I have in mind for the diorama. I couldn't make it fit in the jar, so I just started snapping parts off. So these are the broken bits. They shall go in first. Into the vat! Oh yeah. And now, into the vat of hopelessness you go. No, no! We are no longer blood angels. Mingle with Lord of the Rings and Warhammer Fantasy alike. No! Yes. Alright, so we'll fill this up and put the lid on and come back in 24 hours. So check this out. It's a jar of sad Space Marines. You can see that he's basically, the paint is almost just falling off him. See that? Give it a shake. Sugar, sugar, sugar. It's like jelly on him. What I've done with this one is put a plastic bag inside the jar so that I know where my Assault Marines are. And they should just come out nicely. Yeah. And I'll put them in here into my little bucket. That way I've still got the rest of my minis in here. So you don't have to worry about mixing your Marines with your Lord of the Rings characters and having to empty the whole bucket out. So what we should do is just get our toothbrush, get some Dettol on it, and then I'm just going to grab him by the bolter and push. Let's see what happens. It just comes off. Now, it's not as cool as this one time I did it with an Ultramarine. The whole thing just came off, like the skin of his entire skin just slid off like a burst balloon, and it was all grey underneath. So that's all. I'll just scrub these, and then what I like to do is rinse them right at the end with water. Don't get any water on them at this point because it turns into this weird mush. If you look at my gloves, you'll see the mush. That's from the water and the Dettol and the paint. So you save the water to the very end when you clean them. And then I put them in soapy water with some detergent for a while because the smell of the Dettol is kind of annoying. I just wanted you to witness the carnage. Oh, the carnage. Yes, this is all that's left of the land speeder after it has re-emerged from the black hole of Dettol. I'm going to strip out those legs. The front bumper, it's going to have some damage added to it because it's hitting a tree. Gonna have to figure out a way to get the controls off this pilot. What I've got here is the land speeder. I've stripped out the legs of the Space Marine pilots. I have to build that back up, and so I've used some white styrofoam and just cut it into square shapes and stuck it on with wood glue. It's setting now, and then I'm just gonna go back and do some green stuff sculpting and sculpt in some cushions. The reason why I took the legs out, of course, is because, well, actually you guys don't know why, so let me tell you. The idea of the diorama is that two little grots have cheekily stolen a Space Marine land speeder on Christmas Eve and gone for a joyride. Get it? Joyride? So here are the two little grots that I've chosen from my box set of Grots and the Grot Herder, which I picked up for $20 at Good Games in Sydney. Great guys over at Good Games. And I've just done some chopping and changing, swapped out some arms and used the pointer arm to point forward instead of sideways and created a bit of character. This guy here is the pilot. He is so busy staring at his mug. He's like, is there any beer left? And he's not looking where he's going, and they've gone off course and smashed into a tree. And he's got the controller there in his arm, the joystick that was previously being held by the other Space Marine. What I'm going to do is to show you how I do the crash effect and how I got the car to crash into the tree. Alright, so I'm going to try and put this in the water. Got Rowan on camera. Okay, so got a good steady push. Here we go. So I'm going to use this dangerous knife. I'm going to hold it by the knife end. Don't try this at home. And I'm going to go... Now watch the guys. I bet they're going to melt and fall off into the water. It's going to be a disaster. Here goes nothing. And in a couple of seconds the plastic will give. Here it goes. So we got a bit of a buckle. Pretty major buckle. It's not exactly what I wanted. That's okay. I'll just keep going. If you're wondering why I'm using the knife, I'm just using it so I can press against it to create the place where the tree is hitting. They really stuffed up the land speeder, which is kind of cool actually. Just don't want the glue to melt, that's all. There's also polystyrene in here which is going to get wrecked. Well, that's pretty much a disaster. But, it's worth trying. So we'll go wrap that around the tree.
There's a picture of you, Baba. He hates the colour. Alright.
Hey guys, so you can see here what I've got is the fuselage, or the bottom of the fuselage of the land speeder. It's had the controls reversed. Swap this to the here and here to here, and that gives me like some space to add the extra wiring under the cockpit. So you can see where the melting has created the impact point, and what I've done is stick to some plastic tubing all the way through the fuselage. I've drilled through the Dremel tool to about here, and that's not going anywhere. So the idea is that'll be the join point for when it's hitting the tree. Okay, so here we have the tree. It's sort of bent over in a sort of cartoon fashion. I haven't quite got the bend right, so I'll play with that a bit more. It's a little bit wonky, but it's got some wire attached here and twisted and then blocked off with some foam. It's not quite as hard as I'd want it to be. It's stiff, so I've got to go in there and just chalk that up some more with some plastic as opposed to foam, and then I put masking tape around here to thicken it up, and then I'll cover that down because that's going to wear down over time. And then the idea is that this just slots on like that, so it sticks into the tree. Late at night on Christmas Eve, and I am making some presents. That's right, I'm busy wrapping some little foam presents for my little grot friends. They are such grots. They have made such a mess of this land speeder. Gosh, the Blood Angels must be angry. If I was having a Christmas Eve party and a couple of grots sped away on a joyride with one of my land speeders, I would take flight and I would make chase. And that's what we're doing here. This is our Space Marine posse racing away from their keg party to make chase after these two little troublesome grots. And unfortunately for them, they're nothing but legs and arms and jetpacks and fists and torsos and heads all chopped up. These are a mixture of some of my old Space Marines mixed with the Assault Space Marines that I got on eBay last week. They've gone through the dead-o process and they are ready to be put together, I guess, pinned and posed. And what will happen is they'll be chasing behind the land speeder. And you can see our two little grots. This one's still sort of looking up to see if there's any beer left in his mug, and his friend's saying, "Watch out where you're going!" Smash! So what I've done is I put the fins back on because I broke them off to make it fit in the dead-o jar, and I've just sanded them down and added some gap filler and sanded that down. And here's the interior of the land speeder with the wrecked console and the little keyboard that I customized there, and bits of wire sticking out from below the dash where they've hot wired it, and where in mid-flight the joystick is broken off. So just put these guys together and it goes in like this. How does it go? Clip, clip, like so. So you can see them on the front there, they're like whee, falling off. And I hope you guys enjoy the update, and I will be back soon. Happy holidays!